All right, we're recording. Hello to everybody. Thank you for joining Live Fully tonight. We are going to talk about the dreaded procrastination. It actually came about as a topic from something else. So I was reading, I mentioned this book last week. And so if you guys don't have it, it's called The Book of Awakening, and it's by Mark Nepo. Amy, you were on last week, so you probably remember, but it's like a daily, excerpt kind of a thing. And it just has like a quick little paragraph from him, just kind of like, food for thought. And then there's a story, like a real life story that he has around each topic. And so this one that I was reading, the title of it is called Consider or Enter. And he usually has like a poem or a saying or something at the beginning before he goes into telling the story. And so the little saying at the beginning says, if you try to comprehend air before breathing it, you will die. And so he goes on to tell this whole story about, the importance of like just moving forward with something. Like if you could wait, you can consider something forever, but it's like if you try to comprehend air, like if you try to understand it before breathing it, you'll die. So, I just really was thinking about like, wait a second, so it's like, you gotta just breathe, right? Before you fully understand it, because if you don't, you're gonna die. And so then so I read the story and I kept thinking about it, and like what popped into my head was just do it. So like in the post, in Live Fully, I put that as an image, of part of the advertisement for our call tonight. But I started thinking about Nike, that it was just like, sometimes you gotta like, just do it. Like you don't fully understand why, but you know that it's coming from somewhere. There's a thought or something that's urging you to move forward on something. And so, you gotta like, just do it. Well, then and you guys know me. I question everything to like the nth degree. So then I had to know, where did that come from? Like, I wonder who at Nike came up with this like world famous slogan, just do it. Like now it's everywhere. Like everybody knows it's Nike. And I was like, I wonder how that thing got started. So the first video that I want to show is just a 3-minute video by Dan Whiten, who is like, I think the founder of Nike. And he tells the story of how Just Do It came about. And then from there, I'll play like a little bit, the tail end of a TED Talk by a guy named Tim Urban. And he's this young, he probably isn't a college dude now, but he looks like a college dude in the video. He's real young. But he talks about a blog that he wrote about procrastination, and it ties in really closely with this whole idea of just do it. And when we get ideas or we get, intuitively something that tells us to just go, like just do it, like just move forward, how important it is to act on that. So I'm going to share my screen and make sure that you guys can see it. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Yes. Awesome. Okay. Here's the first one. And I'm going to maximize, so if I lose your faces.
The history of the line, just do it, probably is a good peek into the unconscious and where ideas come from and why nobody knows. It was a simple thing where we had a bunch of commercials. It was Nike's first big push. We were going to spend, at that time, it was a lot of money, like $25 million. And I think we had 6 or 8 commercials. And different creative people had done them, and they were true to their individual sports, but they didn't really look anything alike, or they didn't sum up to anything. And we had always hated taglines. They seemed like, that's so old-fashioned. But the night before the presentation, I just got worried that the stuff didn't hang together enough because we had different directors and everything. So I sat down, and I think it probably took me about 20 minutes or something, and I think I wrote 4 or 5 lines, and I was trying to write something or tie it up so it could speak to women who had just started walking, to kind of get in shape, to people who were like world-class athletes, and it had the same kind of connection with them. That was about the only thing. And then for some damn reason, I thought of Gary Gilmore, who was who actually grew up in Portland, and and later in life I met his brother Michael Gilmore, who was a writer for Rolling Stone. But Gary had killed some people, and in Utah, which is not a good place to kill people because they kill you right back. So he was convicted and sentenced to die by firing squad. And so, which is a little old-fashioned, but they brought him out, put him in the chair, and and the firing squad was there, and before they put the sack over his head, they asked him if he had any last words, and he said, let's do it. I remember when I read that, I was like, that's amazing. I mean, how do you, in face of that much uncertainty, do you push through that, And so I didn't like the let's thing. I just changed that, because otherwise I have to give him credit. Now I don't really have to, so.
Okay, so that was the first one. Now, I was shocked that I was like, this guy killed 2 people, and he died by firing squad. You guys, I think I read that happened like in the 70s. That I was like, they had firing squads like to kill. I mean, it's not like, there's just this whole thing in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like with 58 people. I mean, like, this guy killed 2 people, died by firing squad. Not the point of this of the whole thing. But here's what stood out to me when I watched that, and got over the whole, like, oh my God, like, just do it came from like a murderer, who was like, let's do it. But here's what he said. First of all, when he started out the video, he said, it gives you a peek into the unconscious and where ideas come from. So he was like, for some damn reason, I thought of whatever the guy's name just was that killed the people. That he's like, for some reason I just thought of it. But like, it wasn't by happenstance, because him thinking of the guy who killed Gary Gilmore, him thinking of that at the time, the night before he was going to meet with all of these people at Nike, these other directors, like, was not an accident. Like, he had that thought as part of, intuition. And then he went, so like later what I read about this story is that everybody said, that's not going to work. Like, just do it everybody hated it. They were like, it's not going to fly. And he was like, he pushed and pushed and pushed for it and said, like, you guys, like, you got to just trust me on this one. And then look what happened. I mean, now it's like everybody knows what just do it is, right? The other thing that he said that stood out to me was at the end, where he said, in the face of that, so the guy's, got the thing over his head, he's getting ready to die, and he's like, let's do it. And when he said that, I felt the same thing. I was imagining being Gary Gilmore, who was sitting there ready to have a hood put over his face, and he was like, rather than like being scared or fearful or whatever, he's like, let's do it. And maybe he was crazy, but maybe it was that, like, looking that challenge in the face, like, as crazy as it sounds, but Dan Wyden said at the end of that video, in the face of that much uncertainty, how do you push through that? Like when you're so, like you're at a point where you're so like, I do not know how this is going to go, but you just do it. Like you just say yes. And like the whole thing about like trying to comprehend air before you breathe it, like you don't, you just breathe. Like you just do it before you understand, what air does for you. And so I started thinking about starting, something new, isogenics, and how, that was what I personally thought about, but just making a major change in general about habits that have been, lifelong, year after year after year, doing the same thing. Last week we talked about repetition is not failure, about how, there's a lot of power in doing things over and over, starting over again, because it's this process. It actually came from this book, but of, pretend it's like as if you are the shore and the waves from the ocean every time, they're coming back and forth, right? And then the waves come back again. But every time they come, they smooth out the shore a little bit more, and then they go back. And then they come back in and they smooth it out a little bit more. So that whole analogy of, starting over, nobody, I don't want to say nobody, some people get it right on the first try, but like I didn't. And most people that I know that I talk to when they make a decision about making, a life-changing decision about, compulsive overeating, starting a new, regimen, like what's this isogenics thing? I don't know what it is. Again, like when you face that uncertainty, that level of like, I have no idea. Sometimes you have to just do it. And I hear people all the time, well, I don't know what's in it, or my doctor, like not that it's bad or we're against, doctors, but people will eat things like God knows what the ingredients are. But when it comes to super nutrition, it's like research it to the nth degree. And sometimes it's like this just resonated so deeply with me that I just want to be like, just do it, just try it. What do you have to lose? There's no risk. It's 30-day money back. But beyond that, look where you are in your life. Like at what point are you going to stop the, questioning and just do it? Like, just go, just give something a shot. And so, it's a fine line. Like when you're talking with people and like, when I think about myself, how many times, like I had mentioned in my post, getting ready to get ready. So a friend of mine's husband, and she'll probably never watch this video, thank goodness, because she'd be like, I know you're talking about me. But she would always, kind of crack on her husband and talk about how he's always getting ready to get ready to do something. So rather than just like go like pay this bills or like do the taxes or whatever, he would be like, make sure that he has the right filing cabinet and the right pens and the right, like get everything in order. When she's like, just pay them. Like, just go do the taxes. Like, you're always getting ready to get ready to do something. And with that note, I'm gonna switch over and just play this 4 minutes of this TED Talk by Tim Urban. So he's going to talk about like the lead in. So the first 10 minutes, just had to look at my TV because I was watching it on TV. The first 10 minutes, he gives background on how he waited till the very, very last minute to write his thesis, like his doctoral thesis, and how he like crammed it in like 3 days, wrote it, turned it in, and he blogged about it. And it was like a jokey, funny blog about procrastination and how we wait to the last minute. And then he talks about like, we are like, there's like a rational decision maker that's like this stick figure that like thinks about things and is logical about making rational decisions. And then he shows this monkey. It's like this cartoon looking monkey that is the the instant gratification monkey that like distracts us, right? So we have this idea or, you know, this intuition that it's like, okay, I really, like I've been putting this off, you know, this losing weight, getting healthy. I've been putting it off, putting it off. And we have this instant gratification monkey that comes in all these different forms. It's just a distractor. So it's like, well, I have this birthday party and I'm going to start Monday after the birthday party because I want to, you know, eat cake, or I've got this barbecue coming up, or we're going on vacation and I don't want to start until after vacation. So there's all these things that are distractors, but have been for like our whole lives. Like there are some things that are the kind of last minute that fall in line with his example of like, there's a sense of urgency because there's a deadline. There's other things in our lives that we've been putting off and procrastinating on for years that actually starts to cause an issue within our psyche. And so he talks about these responses that he got to his blog that he was like, I meant it in fun, but these people replied with these heavy-hearted responses like, I struggle with procrastination. And like to the point that like it's ruined my life. And he's like, whoa, like what, you know, what's going on here? So I'm going to play this really quick. So there's only 4 minutes left. And then I want to open it up and just have some discussion about, you know, if either of the videos have, you know, kind of spoken to you, or maybe like where in your lives you feel, you know, procrastination. Do you hear that from people that you talk to about getting started with isogenics, this kind of hesitation to just do it, you know, to just go, like, are you ready? You know, Jennifer Trinkner, I will never forget at Casey's retreat in Tennessee, talked about, you know, like one of the most powerful things that she does is talk to people, ask people before they get started, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as being ready? Because you have to be at that 10 out of 10, you know, and know that you're ready to go. Because if you're not, it's not worth spending your money, right? You're going to talk yourself out of it. You've got to be, you know, totally ready to go. And so, you know, I'll let him, you know, talk about through the rest of this video, but just kind of as the video plays, maybe kind of think to yourself again, like what areas in your life or what you hear other people, you know, kind of talk about with regard to if it's short-term procrastination, like, oh, there's a deadline, I just waited to the last minute, or is it procrastination on like a long-term basis that is actually like beating you down? It's, you know, it's wearing you down, it's changing your belief systems, and like, well, we'll do the video and then we'll chat after.
And this entire situation with the 3 characters, this is the procrastinator's system. It's not pretty, but in the end, it works. And this is what I decided to write about on the blog just a couple of years ago. Now, when I did, I was amazed by the response. Literally thousands of emails came in from all different kinds of people from all over the world doing all different kinds of things. These are people who were nurses and bankers and painters and engineers and lots of PhD students. And they were all writing saying the same thing. I have this problem too. But what struck me was the contrast between the light tone of the post and the heaviness of these emails. These people were writing with intense frustration about what procrastination had done to their lives, about what this monkey had done to them. And I thought about this, and I said, if the procrastinator system works, then what's going on? Why are all these people in such a dark place? Well, turns out that there's 2 kinds of procrastination. Everything I've talked about today, the examples I've given, they all have deadlines. When there's deadlines, the effects of procrastination are contained to the short term because the panic monster gets involved. But there's a second kind of procrastination that happens in situations when there is no deadline. So if you want to have a career where you want to be a self-starter, something in the arts, something entrepreneurial, there's no deadlines on those things at first because nothing's happening at first, not until you've gone out and done the hard work to get some momentum, to get things going. There's also all kinds of important things outside of your career that don't involve any deadlines, like seeing your family or exercising and taking care of your health, working on your relationship or getting out of a relationship that isn't working. Now, if Procrastinator's only mechanism of doing these hard things is the panic monster. That's a problem because in all of these non-deadline situations, the panic monster doesn't show up. He has nothing to wake up for. So the effects of procrastination, they're not contained. They just extend outward forever. And it's this long-term kind of procrastination that's much less visible and much less talked about than the funnier, short-term, deadline-based kind. It's usually suffered quietly and privately, and it can be the source of a huge amount of long-term unhappiness and regrets. And I thought, that's why these people are emailing, and that's why they're in such a bad place. It's not that they're cramming for some project. It's that long-term procrastination has made them feel like a spectator at times in their own lives. The frustration is not that they couldn't achieve their dreams, it's that they weren't even able to start chasing them. So I read these emails and I had a little bit of an epiphany that I don't think non-procrastinators exist. That's right. I think all of you are procrastinators. Now, you might not all be a mess, like some of us. And some of you may have a healthy relationship with deadlines. But remember, the monkey's sneakiest trick is when the deadlines aren't there. Now, I want to show you one last thing. I call this a life calendar. That's one box for every week of a 90-year life. That's not that many boxes, especially since we've already used a bunch of those. So I think we need to all take a long, hard look at that calendar. And we need to think about what we're really procrastinating on, because everyone is procrastinating on something in life. We need to stay aware of the instant gratification monkey. That's a job for all of us. And because there's not that many boxes on there, it's a job that should probably start today. Well, maybe not today, but sometime soon. Thank you.
All right. So that just, oh my gosh. When I thought about, I spent 20 years of my life being severely overweight. 20 years of procrastinating on getting started. I might do something for a couple of weeks or, a month or something, but I really need to do that. I really need to do that. And I started thinking about the cost. What are the consequences of if I would have just done it, just do it, Chris, just do it. Not stop the research, stop the thinking about doing it. I'm going to do it after vacation or after, New Year's. I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend the rest of this year, having fun and not being healthy. I'm going to do it next year. What are the consequences when that turns into, when, like he talked about, that instant gratification monkey takes over, but how sneaky it is when there's no urgency. There's no urgency until the doctor says, if you don't lose weight, you're going to die. Your blood pressure is so high, you can have a heart attack. You are now diabetic. This is it went from a lighthearted, oh, what areas of my life do I need to jump in and just do it? And I started thinking about how serious this is. When you talk to people on the phone that say, I'm doing a 3-way, and it's I've been thinking about it, but we've got this vacation coming up, and maybe when we get back, and watching these videos so made me rethink just being really open and raw and real about what are the consequences. If you do start next week when you get back from vacation, awesome. But if next week turns into next month, and next month turns into next year, and next year turns into 20 years down the road, And then you have, gastric bypass surgery, or maybe not, or the panic monster that he talks about, that Tim Urban talked about, like there is going to come a point where that urgency, I just got goosebumps, is there. And that point is when it comes to your health. I've mentioned this before, where Rod Hairston had talked about at Celebration, that like, if you don't have your health, like you don't have anything. It impacts every other area of your life. And so, when Tim Urban, in that TED Talk just said, the people that were responding to this blog that he thought was funny and lighthearted, like, look how I waited to the last minute to turn this thesis in. And people were saying that instant gratification monkey has ruined my life. Because they've been so distracted on getting, moving forward, and like the just do it, like getting started, like just do it, trust me, just do it. That he said it's like people can't even get started to chase their dreams, like let alone achieve them, because think about what does that do week after week, month after month, year after year of not just doing it. It causes us to create a belief system that like we can't and we never will. And when I hear people on the phone that are, severely overweight or know somebody that is, and that are just kind of laying it on the line of like, I just don't think, it's like, is there anything that's holding you back? Are you any questions, any concerns before we get ready to do this? And it's that voice that, because of that gratification monkey that has held them down for however long, that has created this voice in their head, it did in my head, that was like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I think it's going to be one more thing that I just can't stick to. And this whole idea around procrastination just took a whole new turn for me when I watched these videos about this long-term procrastination. It's like, haha, funny, I'm such a procrastinator. Oh my God, I just waited to the last minute. There's that. And then there's the procrastination that literally like has leveled people's confidence and their belief. It's leveled their ability to dream and actually think that there's something better, like that, and it's that panic monster that comes in. But like sometimes by that, it's like, do you want to wait until it's gotten to that point where the panic monster shows up? So I want to open it up now, and let's just chat. Like, what has come up for you guys just watching this video, thinking about, your own lives, thinking about people that that you've coached around procrastination, and like, just do it.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, sweetie.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So this was really good for myself, and I've got a story too about a lady, and I want to share, so don't even forget, because I'll get off track. But so procrastination, something my entire life, of course, and it's almost like I felt like I would work better with the pressure, like he was saying, like the panic mode. The panic was like, okay, well, I'll just procrastinate, and then the panic mode comes in, and then that's when I just start like, I get so stressed out and so overwhelmed. My whole life is coming down to an end, and so then that's when I start chipping away, and then that's, you start feeling that that relief when you start doing that. But it's so funny because with the weight loss and how you were talking, like I think it does, like, you procrastinate so long, and then you start creating that identity for yourself that you can't do it. Sorry, the dog is like, Cooper, come here. He's totally licking the bowl across the floor because he's starving. He's my dog that has an eating disorder. And so I was thinking about that with like my weight loss, and like, I remember kind of when I had gotten all the way up to almost 300 pounds, and I knew that I was really unhealthy, but I had zero self-belief that I could do it. And so it was kept procrastinating, and it was always the next Monday, or it was always the next thing. But after this meal, or after this, holiday, or after this person's birthday. And those were the small things. Those weren't even really like, hurdles that I had. Those were just like lies and stories that I told myself, and the identity that I had myself stuck in. And, I remember thinking I wanted a panic to happen. I almost sickeningly wanted a heart attack or a stroke or something that ended me up in the hospital that would be my wake-up call. Because I had no other, it was like, that was like the last resort. I had given up on myself. I'd given up on systems, products, anything, like even like looking into surgery. Like I remember looking into it, but I still was just like, well, it's not going to fit me because I'll figure out a way. Or just how you were with filling with different things, like I knew that it was more my psyche than anything. So, and those little boxes that he put up there, like, you just had a birthday. And we all have, the birthdays, they just keep coming and coming and coming. But it's just so crazy how we can always just like put stuff off and then justify it. But then when it comes to your health, and that you have this system here that can really help people. And, I'm just so grateful for Isagenix. But the story that I wanted to tell is I was talking to this lady. Her name was Mary. And I talked to her probably like 3 or 4 times. And every time that I talked to her, she was like, I really want to get started. I really want to get started. I just got to get this stuff out of my cabinets, because she was one of those people who had, every system, every product in her cabinets. And her husband wouldn't let her buy anything else because she had every product in her cabinets. And, she contacted me and she said, I'm ready to get started just next week. Husband, her procrastination. And I'm not sharing this because it's, who knows what was going on in her life, or I didn't know her very well, but it was like I was scrolling on Facebook one day, and this is about a year ago, and she had a heart attack and she had passed away. And to see somebody who was struggling so much and was buying so much and wanted to get healthy, but was struggling so much with the psyche and the procrastination and trying other things and had no self-belief in herself, and then to pass away in that way, it was like a really big wake-up call for me. And that it reminded me of that time that I kept thinking, I wanted something to happen to me to have my wake-up call. And so watching this poor lady, and it just kind of like, I think that was another one of the little pushes that kind of helped me get onto my journey. So, thankful for everything that happens in our life, but you can't procrastinate with something, like with your health. You just never know. So I got to start checking off putting marks in my boxes. I didn't like that box thing at all.
It's awesome. Yeah, like when he talked about the panic monster, I thought about after I had lost 100 pounds and 3 years later, I had gained half of it back. And it was just like, what am I going to do? Because that instant gratification monkey was still in my brain. Like even like physiologically, because of the surgery, like you just drop like that and it's like gone. And you think like you're good to go like for the rest of your life. But psychologically, I hadn't dealt with the fact that I had, I was still procrastinating. I wasn't being any healthier, you know what I mean? Which over the next 3 years, it was like 10 pounds and then 15 pounds and then 20 pounds. And, I was back up there again. And it's like, at what point, like, why does it have to come down to the panic monster? And I just, God, with Mary and, so many of the people that come to us, like that come into our lives that, I don't know, I just have a really different perspective now when I think about, talking with people, and it's like this blowing it off that are, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, that it's like, you like really, really think about like whether or not you want to wait until you get back from vacation. Like someone that I was talking to, I was like, when do you want to get ready? Like, or when do you want to get started? And they were like, well, what's tomorrow? Friday. So let's do tomorrow, like Friday. And I was like, I love it. Like someone who wanted to get started on a Friday, not somebody who was waiting until, well, I guess Monday's a good day, right? Like they had their stuff. Like I was like, okay, when are we going to start? Because they had just gotten their stuff, their boxes, that day. And I was like, well, when are we going to go? And they're like, tomorrow. Like, let's go, let's do it. And I was just like, oh my God, I love that you just, I love that you just said that you're just like, there's no more waiting for anything, because, oh my God, you guys, like, it's just not tomorrow. It just isn't promised. All of these things that are happening in the world, it's like, time is so precious. I don't know, Andy, Amy, thanks, Morgan, for sharing both of those stories, like for yourself and for Mary. But man, it's so true. It's like, what is going to be, I don't know.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
So Morgan, are you Morgan Bishop?
What's that?
Is Morgan Bishop?
It is Morgan Bishop.
Hi.
The infamous.
Yeah, we're friends. So my question is, for the people that I have right now that are waiting till after vacation or waiting till after the holidays, or like, I don't necessarily want to tell them, my friend told me a story about Mary who was going to wait until after vacation and she's not here. You know what I mean? I don't want to put on a pressure like that. So how do we effectively help them past this?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, what comes to mind for me, and again, like this is a pretty recent aha, like within the past like day or two, I would go back to that 10 out of 10. Like, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as being ready to make a change? And if that person says 10, that does not mean when I get back from vacation. It doesn't mean next month. And if it is and you do, then like, okay, but like on this day, I'm going to call you and we're getting started and we're going and we're doing this. And these boxes are not going to sit on your shelf and on your cat. You know what I mean? Like, this is serious. This is not like, this is going to change your life. And so like, I just to bring it to light that the procrastination, this is like years and years and years of belief systems. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it has to be gentle because it's what they've been doing. I've been doing, Morgan's been doing, we've all, right? It's like, it's what we've been what we've been like trained to do. It's ingrained in our minds that like, yeah, I'm going to do it when I get back from vacation. I think it's just bringing it to the surface to start being aware of that instant gratification monster. Like, know that that little monkey exists. And right now it's vacation. But when you get back from vacation, guess what? It's going to be something else unless you're that 10 out of 10. And if you're that 10 out of 10, we're going to rock this thing out and we are going to do it. And I'm going to support you and just do it. Right? Like, we're going to stop asking questions. We're going to stop on this day, it's go time. And I think it's just, I don't know, and maybe, I don't know if you guys disagree. I just feel like my perspective has changed so much about oh, great, we're going to get started. Okay, cool. It's like, no, we're doing this. this is like for real, because you're a 10 out of a 10. And for however many years, and again, like this group, you know, this is not, I need to lose 10 pounds, like zip, like do a couple cleanses and, you know, get on some shakes and like whatever and done. But like, it's going to take a minute. I mean, Morgan, 100 pounds, it's going to take some undoing of the belief systems, of the starting over and over. Like we're ups and downs, like, but I think just to, I don't know, maybe help people be aware that like, I'm not playing with you, you know, like I am not playing around with this stuff. You have spent money, you've committed, you're a 10 out of 10. I just sat here and listened to your why of how long it has taken you to make this decision. And guess what? Like, I am not fucking around. And you aren't either. So enjoy your vacation if you have to wait till vacation. But guess what? I'm not playing. I don't know. Like, maybe that's just my approach, but it's serious. People die. People are what else? I don't know. Did that help or no? Did it? Maybe somebody else has a difference of opinion on how you might approach it with someone.
That story about Mary, that gap. What? There's something wrong with my volume. With my. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was Mary and Morgan, like waiting for that. I'm waiting for that big thing to change me, to get me going, or to keep me going. I don't know. I don't even know. I just need to just do it. I don't even know. I don't know why I put it off. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I did isogenics. I did great. And then I slowly fell off and we're having a really hard time getting back on. And it's not just that, it's everything in my life. Like I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do the laundry tomorrow. I'll do some grocery shopping tomorrow. I'll get back on 100% tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, and then it's the next day and the next day. And now it's been like a month, and I'm still not back on. I don't even know. I'm blaming the weather.
It makes me think about like that, what the guy wrote in that book. If you try to comprehend air before breathing it, you will die.
Right.
Like, don't try to figure it out. Like, it's like, just do it. Nike, the guy's ready to die, and he's like, well, do you have any last words? He's like, let's do it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like when you get to that point where that's where you're at, it's like, I'm going to cleanse next week. No, I'm going to cleanse tomorrow. Just do it.
Stop thinking about it and just do it.
Because the thinking about it is what we've been doing year after year after year after year. And the thinking about it has created in our psyche, in our conscious or unconscious, that we can't. And we're going to fail and it's not going to work. And it's like that distraction monkey is the immediate gratification. It can be anything. He talks earlier in the video about it being like TV, about it being, some video, about it being a movie, or like it can be anything that distracted him from like starting his thesis. He had a year to write this paper and waited until like literally 72 hours before it was due to write a thesis, and was up, like didn't sleep for 2 nights. And like, that was the urgency, like deadline one. Right. But like these long-term procrastinations are the ones that we gotta like break through, the Nike guys that, in the face of that much uncertainty, how do you push through that? When you're that, I don't know. And then he tells about the guy that he's like ready to die. And he says, let's do it. I don't know. It's like you're sitting there saying, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how to get back on. Like, I don't know why. It's who cares why? You know what I mean? Like, I'm at that point where it's like, if you're a 10 out of 10, just do it. Like, we are starting tomorrow. Like, period. And again, maybe this is not, like, this is just my, like, what came up for me. I used to be, growing up, you guys help me watch the time because I have this on full screen, so I don't have the clock. Are we?
8:52.
Okay. I was such a competitor, and I would somebody gave me a challenge and I'd be like, I'm all over that. And what I started to notice is the longer I was overweight, the less competitive I became, because I didn't want any, even if it was something that I could win, that didn't have anything to do with weight or health or sports or anything. Like, it was something that I probably, if I put my mind to it, like, I could totally win, but I would back away from it because I had developed this idea in my head from procrastinating, not getting started, not just doing it, right? Like, forcing myself into it. And so I started instead shying away, pulling back and being like, I don't even want to get in that contest. Like, nah, you guys, like, I'm not interested in that. And it wasn't because, it was because I didn't think I could win. So I didn't even want to try.
I think that's what has happened to me and happens to a lot of us. I think that you start failing, or you get in that procrastination and you wait till the next day, or Monday comes around and you say you're going to start and you don't. And then you're in that revolving door of, I suck, I'm horrible, I'm terrible, and then that becomes the place that you're comfortable. And so stepping out and doing something different and being successful, or jumping into that 2-day cleanse, or getting back on track, it's almost uncomfortable because we've been so comfortable for so long in this revolving door of telling ourselves that we're not worthy. As long as you go on without succeeding and letting yourself down, that becomes the normal, and you don't know how to do anything else. And I think that's what it was for me. Like, I knew that the products worked. Like you said, Amy, like, you had really good results at the beginning. And it's like, I bet in the back of your mind, that the products work, and that you see everybody else doing it, and you don't even know what's wrong with you. Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just get on them and go? And I really do think you were at that thing, Amy, you were in Michigan, right? When Rod was talking about identity.
Yes.
And yeah, and when I heard that, it was like, okay, so there's where I am. This is my identity. My identity tells me that I procrastinate. Every time I try to do something, I fail. And as far as you were talking, Andy, about like holidays and people waiting on vacations and stuff, like, how many, and that was me. Like, in March when I started, I was like, if I had thought about all the holidays and birthdays and Columbus days and Labor Days and 4th of July's and Mother's Day, Father's Day, my grandmother's birthday, somebody's retirement party, Friday night out. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And that's what I would suggest you to say too to some of these people when they do come at you with a vacation. Okay, well, what do you have the week? I mean, there's always going to be something. And I had zero self-belief in myself that I was able to go on vacation and take healthy food and take my snacks. Like, I just didn't see it happening. I didn't know how to do it. So it took a lot of retraining of my identity and myself. And each time I was able to hit an obstacle, or each vacation I was able to go on, or each event that I was able to go to and eat well and do my 2 shakes. And even if I didn't have the best day, just work on not beating myself up and just doing the best I could each day. And any obstacle that came in my way, like my ankle injury, like when I was able to see obstacles as opportunities, then I started to get my self-belief back in myself, because I was like, oh, hey, look, Morgan, you did that. You got this done today. You hurt your ankle and you still stayed on track with food. You went to Vegas, you went to the beach, you did these things. And so then that's how I created a little bit of a new identity for myself. And now it's like I have the belief, I see the products and the belief in the products, and then I have the belief in myself. And so it kind of all came together. But I think that's where, I know for me, that's where I struggled the most, was trying to find that belief in myself, because I had 35 years of failures that just kept going. You failed, you suck, you're terrible. If you try this again, it's going to be the same way. It's that, and you drive yourself crazy and you're just stuck there. And it's like you see other people and you want to be like, deep down in, I wanted to be, I really did. And that's why I was almost praying, like, where's my wake up call? Like, what's it going to take? And so, and honestly, for me, it was just really plugging into books, listening to people, doing calls like this, talking with other people, and letting other people kind of pour some type of belief in me, because I just had none in myself. It had just gotten to that point where I had zero. And so in just borrowing other people's beliefs and other people's stories and seeing how they were able to overcome, and the biggest thing is just taking those obstacles and making them into opportunities. And it really is all of how you look at it. Like, I could have taken that ankle injury and been like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Now I have to eat again. But I really did. I was like, God gave me this ankle so that I could overcome it. And I don't ever have to be in a position again to use an excuse or procrastinate for something that, has happened to me. And when you turn it into an opportunity, it changes everything, or it has for me, and it can for you too.
Thank you.
I love that. I just wrote that down. Turn obstacles into opportunities. I love that. But I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think just encouraging. Oh, not judging. That's what I was going to say. It's like, it is what it is. We can't change the past. However the behavior was, and the monkey and the distractions and the decisions that we made, to not just do it and not get started. It's like, don't judge it. Because we can sit around all day and feel bad about it and regret it and resent it and everything else that makes it even worse. And Amy, it's like, oh my God, your story is incredible. Your success and transformation is from when I saw you in Chicago, and then I just started seeing these, pictures and your interaction and everything. And I was like, oh my God, she's knocking it out of the park. That's amazing. And it is normal. It is absolutely it would almost expected that how many people do you know just go get it right and never have to go back and revisit it again? That's just what we do. I've started 1,800,000 million times. But I think what I will do, kind of moving forward personally, is that when I hear that hesitation from people, that if you've said you're a 10 out of 10, I think I might, be a little more gentle than I was earlier, when I gave my example, but it was I was a little harsh. But just to say, I would really encourage you. It's been a long time that you have really, been hesitant on making this decision. You're a 10 out of 10. You're ready to go. I would really encourage you to just do it. Let's just do it. Let's not wait until after vacation. Let's do it now. Let's do it through your vacation. Let me show you how you can go on vacation and actually do isogenics still. One of my best friends got married in Mexico, and she actually came back 4 pounds lighter because she took her isogenics with her. And she was like, and I ate. I ate meals and we drank wine and champagne, but I had my shake and I kept my snacks, instead of eating, crappy stuff or whatever. She said, I got back and I was down 4 pounds from her wedding and from her honeymoon. And so that, to me, is more encouraging, and I think more inspirational to have somebody breathe that encouragement and support into me than, okay, we're going to wait until you get back. And then when you get back, turns into, oh yeah, my son's birthday, and so I'm going to start next week, and then it turns into 3 weeks. They got a 30-day system 3 weeks ago that they haven't started yet. Because that's psyche, right? Like that's that thing telling them you're not going to be able to do this. So like I don't know, for me I don't think I'm going to accept that anymore without a challenge, without what is holding you back from doing this right now. Any final thoughts? I know we're probably up on time, but Andy, anything from you?
Oh, just thank you so much. And Amy, I wish you luck because I'm going to be watching for you on the board.
Thank you.
Anything else, Amy?
No, this was great. Thank you. You just need to stop thinking about it and do it.
Just do it.
Let's
Nike.
just do it.
All right, guys. Invite some people next week. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Love you guys.